Okay,
Um,
well, it's 7 o'clock. Welcome to the third Friday Women's International League for Peace and Freedom San Jose branch monthly meeting. So our meetings are open and closed by the Raging Grannies, and we have Portia and Shirley and I and Karen and Amy are all grannies. So I would ask everybody to mute except whoever's going to sing the first song, which is probably me. And I will share the words on the screen. I'm used to having Paula share the words, and so I'm wearing too many hats tonight. So this first one is Belonging to the tune of Getting to Know You. And I figure since I wrote it, I'm probably singing it. Getting to know them, getting to know all our neighbors. Knowing we're family, knowing it's always that way. Belonging and bridging, building structures of inclusion. This is precisely how it should be. Embracing our oneness, listening to everyone's stories, knowing our uniqueness makes us stronger each day, sharing our circle with all humans and all life. This is precisely how it should be. Leave fear behind you. Open your heart to the whole world. Changing our story to one of belonging and caring. Working together, lift up each other and save the earth. This is precisely how it should be. And this one's a pretty new one to us. It's to the tune of Greensleeves by Mary Matisic on the San Jose Gaggle. We love her lyrics. Were you going to be able to do this one, Shirley? If so, I'll mute myself.
you're
What What child is there who wants to grow in toxic air and dis-ease? 'Cause all the children that I know love living things and green trees. Green trees are the lungs of earth, and every child must know their worth. Green trees fill the air with life and offer us hope and healing. Oh, forest trees, your gentle shade now cools our warming planet. Your roots hold fast the living earth and shelter its thriving inhabitants. Green trees, oh pillars tall, you plead in silence your poignant call. Save, save our forests all from loggers' axes unheeding. So may you grow our guardians green, your gifts forever giving. And may you sow your precious seeds, restoring the lands now grieving. Green trees, we cherish you, make humankind take care of you. Green trees, your life we need, our lives depend on your keeping. And so now I would like to welcome Cheryl Lander, who will lead a program on radical belonging, loving the earth and one another. Cheryl is a passionate advocate for social justice. She has supported causes including women's and LGBTQ plus equality, animal rescue, and environmental protection. Today, her volunteer energy is focused on Rotary. She is a charter member and past president of Silicon Valley Rainbow Rotary, an LGBTQ plus focused club, contributes to diversity, equity, and inclusion work at the district level, and helps organize events across the district, and is on the board of Rotary International LGBT plus Fellowship. Please welcome Cheryl to our meeting.
Thank you so much for that welcome. I'm going to go ahead and go and share my slides. If you want to mute and go off camera, that's fine. Anyway, let me get this going here and we can. Are you able to see my slides? So as we know, I'm Cheryl Lander. I use she, her pronouns. My heritage is Norwegian. My great-grandmother, one of 12 children, was the only one in the family to immigrate to America, first to Minnesota and then later to Montana. I carry her spirit of adventure in me. I was born in Canada, raised in Montana. My time in nature shaped me, as did my mom's work ethic and my dad's openness to all people. I carried them with me. I moved to Washington State to study biology, spent one summer working on Mount St. Helens after it erupted, and one summer at a Lutheran camp high in the Cascade Mountains. I surrounded my people my I surrounded myself with people who thought deeply about important things. I carried these experiences with me. Then I found my home and my love in California, and meaningful work and study, and friends and chosen family in Pachamama Alliance, Earthlight Magazine, LGBTQ plus community members, and Rotarians. I carried them with me. Who I am is the sum of my lived experience. I'm a nature and animal lover. I have a deep sense of compassion for and curiosity about others. I'm a vocal member of the LGBTQ plus community, a world traveler, and someone who is culture curious. And underlying all of that is a strong sense of equity and social justice that I know was deeply influenced by my father. Tonight, I'll be talking about welcoming, which isn't about ownership. It's about connectedness, and it's related to empathy and peace. So let's dig in. First of all, I am so glad that all of you are here tonight. I appreciate that you're spending time talking about this, and there will be some time to reflect and then interact. Tonight, I'm going to touch on our interconnectedness to one another and the earth, and how that interconnectedness educates us in our relationships to nature and each other, the role belonging plays in community, and storytelling to build empathy for one another. This is not going to be a lecture. You're invited to participate in whatever way feels comfortable. So let's start by arriving together. Place your feet on the floor if that's comfortable. Take a few slow breaths in and out. Again and out. Think of a place in nature where you feel calm or whole. And if you'd like to share, please come off mute and let us know where it is that you feel calm and whole.
The ocean.
Yeah, that's a good one. Been to the ocean with you a few times, Karen. Anyone else?
Wait a minute. Okay, now I'm off mute. Good. Deep Creek Canyon in Montana.
Ah,
Laurel Snow Pocket Wilderness in Tennessee.
beautiful. All right. Anyone else?
Tall trees.
Very good. Lots of those in California. All right. So let's go ahead and move on. So, one of the most powerful truths about nature is interconnection. Nothing exists alone. Forest, oceans, climate systems, communities. That same principle applies to human society. Humans are part of the living earth. As you watch the next two short videos, simply notice what you feel. So I don't know if either of these videos made you think about your interconnectedness with nature or with others. Would anyone like to talk about any observations they felt while watching these last two videos?
The first one is obviously peaceful nature, and the second one is LA or someplace with a very dramatic sunset. But I admit that the first one, what it made me think was, oh, I bet it's cold.
And it's our senses sometimes that connect us to nature and to other people. All right. Anyone else would like to share? That connect us to nature and to other people. All right. Anyone else would like to share? All right.
Uh,
So,
Time passing, I wanted to say.
time pathing. You want to explain that a little bit more?
Oh, you can see the mountains and the lake and the clouds show that it's not just one moment, that it's in time or something like that.
I
Time
love
is
that.
passing.
And we're part of that time,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, that was great. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I'm going to give you a little bit of time to read this slide. I'm not going to read it out loud, but I don't know how many of you know Robin Wall Kimmerer. One of my favorite books of hers is Braiding Sweetgrass. It's on indigenous wisdom, scientific knowledge, and the teaching of plants. And I see her as somebody that is very well connected to the earth and wants us to understand our relationship with nature and kind of return to that as a way of healing ourselves and healing the earth. I have a little short, very short video from her too that I'd like to read or show.
When we think about the world as a natural resource or a commodity, we think we own it. We think we're in charge of it, right? And that we can control its fate. Whereas when we think about those berries or those bird songs or the rain as a gift, we are much more tender with it. When we think about the world as gift, we automatically remember that when someone gives us a gift, we're filled with gratitude and we want to give them a gift back.
I love this. It explains that nature is a sacred community, not a resource. And I use the word sacred, not necessarily mean that in religious connotation. For me, sacred is about the essence of something. When we think of nature as a gift, this is also an opportunity for us to look at the authenticity of everyone and everything. A strawberry that is a good strawberry and being the essence of that strawberry is going to be an enjoyable gift. And when we're at our essence, we're going to be a giving of ourselves in a way that is a good gift. Interconnection is also ecological and social. Environmental harm and social harm are inseparable. Harm to the planet often harms marginalized communities first. So as we think about the circle of belonging, who is in our circle? Every society draws circles of belongings, who's included, who's welcomed, who's pushed to the margins. Nature shows us that diversity is not a problem, it's how life survives. This is where we connect ecology to social justice. Our diversity is what makes us stronger. This is evidenced in the gifts given by the marginalized community in our midst. The next series of videos explores the yearning of belonging and pride felt by a variety of communities. And so I'm going to show 3 videos. They're not as short as the ones I've shown so far, but I'm hoping that as you listen to them, you'll think about the experiences of the people that are being talked to in the video.
Hello everyone, my name is Jerome Bizimana and I am a staff at WILPF. I was born in Congo and both of my parents are Burundian. My parents fled from Burundi in 1972 to Congo, and in 1996 is when we fled from Congo to Tanzania, where we lived 19 years in different camps. Leaving your country, going to another country is really tough. I really loved my country. I love food, I love family, relatives. I was unsafe and I decided to leave my home because I knew the same people who were looking to kill me. I didn't know who they were, and I knew they can even send someone wherever I am. And so I was mentally disturbed, thinking about what's going to happen for me, who's going to receive me, how am I going to live. It was September 10th. I will never forget that date because that's the date I flew from Africa to the US. On my letter, it showed the organization which was going to be with you was WILPF. So they came to me and with a smiling face, talking very good to me, welcoming me, saying, welcome in America, how are you doing? Are you Jerome? And I said, yes, I am. I didn't sleep. From day 1 to day 7, I did not sleep. Then it is time to sleep. I will feel like someone is coming to take me. So I have to pay attention and be careful if someone comes so I can fight. I kept praying, and I was like, anytime, I don't know what's going to happen, but God in some way used those WILPF employees to tell me that there is safety in this country. My hope was gone, but thank you so much to those folks at WILPF. They really came to me, they taught me, they walked along with me. They tried even to connect me with volunteers who walked along with me to make sure I understood life in America. After 1 year living in this country, I started thinking about my life, starting to think about how refugees or people who come from another country come with their mindset. I feel like I am here to support those struggling the way I was struggling by the time I came. It is not easy to get started with your new life, but I have seen clients who come crying, come with no hope, but after they see me and I speak to them, they gain back their hope and say, we can live and we can make life. I applied, and fortunately, I was approved to become a citizen this October 2020. Thanks so much WILPF and the staff at WILPF. Thanks so much volunteers. Thanks so much everyone of you or any person who is involved in working on WILPF activities, because they are the ones who transform lives. And WILPF staff cannot do it in absence of volunteers, of partners, of everyone who is willing to donate to help refugees. And this means a lot. And this changed lives. And this has changed even my life too, as you can see me. Without their support, I could not have been where I am now.
Yeah, and I think that one does a great job of showing how he was welcomed and how people walk side by side with him and the interconnectedness of everyone working to make his life a good life in his new country.
We're not going anywhere. People in the queer community and the trans community belong everywhere.
When I hear Pride belongs here, I hope that everybody who identifies with the LGBTQ plus community knows that there's a place for them, there's a space for them, and there's a voice for them.
Pride to me has always been about protecting the next generation of queer youth.
It means actively trying to create space that not only I feel comfortable in, but facilitates other people also feeling welcome and comfortable being themselves.
I think that celebrating Pride in a small way to protect your safety is just as meaningful as going to a huge Pride parade in June.
For me, growing up, Pride wasn't necessarily about big grand statements or Pride parades. For me, it was more the smaller things. By wearing a Pride bracelet or holding your partner's hand or just being who I am.
As a queer Appalachian, Pride did not look like a parade. It looked like living authentically and loudly, even if we didn't know anybody was listening or paying attention.
Growing up in my hometown, there was no Pride. There was no talk about it. This was kind of taboo.
I have a deep love of West Virginia, and getting to grow up there was both great and really lonely as a little queer kid.
The first time I went to Pride was last year, and it was the first time I had ever felt comfortable. I finally felt like this is who I am, and it's okay because look at this community around you.
You just have to look for the community. It might be hiding, it might not be what you think it is, but it's there.
Even when the world feels ugly and scary, I have at least one person who will look at me and say that I matter.
I know that having those supporters so close to you is the difference between being afraid to take that step to being comfortable with yourself and being celebratory about the fact that you get to live the life that you deserve to live.
It makes me so happy to see all of these youth who aren't afraid anymore of being themselves and being excited for what's on the horizon for them.
I find a lot of hope in hearing about my queer and trans elders and what they went through and how they resisted and persevered. Pride does belong where we exist because we do exist.
Pride belongs here is really about claiming space, especially where we've been told that we can't or that we don't belong.
I belong here.
You belong here.
We belong here.
Pride belongs here.
I think most importantly, Pride, it belongs everywhere.
I'm not advocating that we give money to the Trevor Project here. I'm not advertising them, but I think the message that's in this video is a strong one about finding voice, creating spaces of welcoming for people to be able to say, this is who I am, and finding the community that supports them and allows them to live authentic lives.
You're different. I mean, you have impairment, but you're not different. You're the same as your brother. And this is also what inspired my parents to send me to mainstream education. My parents believed that if I was amongst people without disabilities, then I could feel that I belong to them. And then my friends could also learn that it is great to have a friend with disabilities. This is part of their life, we laugh together, we even play in the rain together. They push my wheelchairs here and there. It was a really fun moment in my life.
Climbing community in general is quite accepting of people, full stop, and of people with differing disabilities or abilities. With my blindness and my vision impairment, people see it and go, oh, cool, you know. Everyone understands that everyone else has different disabilities in climbing, and you know, with that sort of reaction of, oh, that's cool, you know, a lot of people think about, okay, let's work out the ways to, you know, get up this cliff or whatever, and it's always a case of, you know, people just asking as opposed to telling what to do with it, because it's a matter of asking, you know, are you right?
I used to see a lady walk past my house frequently. One day this lady kindly wished me Happy Easter and added that her religion doesn't celebrate Easter. I asked her, what church does she go to? And she replied, the Maroubra Synagogue, because I am Jewish. I replied, I am Jewish too. Could I come too one day? And she said that she's sure they would welcome me. The people at the Maroubra Synagogue were grateful I could teach them more about disabilities, and they were overjoyed when I joined in their celebration.
Personally, I look at myself as a capital D deaf person. It's important because that's who you are. That's how you identify yourself. That's how you go through your everyday living. The people out there who don't have the confidence, and they're more of a small D deaf person. They're a little bit lost. They're not sure what path to take or where they're going. And also, personally, I connect with the deaf community. I connect with amazing people who believe, who have the same philosophy as I do.
I go to a theatre group and I like it because it's freeing and it gets you to move places and to explore and be more aware. It's such a beautiful thing to make your body move. It's sort of saying what you feel like, and you don't even have to use your mouth. You can just move your arm or move your head or move your stomach or move your legs or move any parts of your bodies that are on you. I mean, like, just move anything.
That video, I think, is really impactful in terms of being open to people who are not like you and accepting and celebrating the lives and the beauty that they bring to the world. So I just want to invite some quiet reflection from all of you. Who feels closest to your circle of belonging? Who feels furthest away? And what stories did you inherit about who belongs? And if anybody would like to share after you give that some thought, would love to hear from folks. Or also just thoughts about the 3 videos that we watched, if anything struck you in terms of belonging and accepting of others and learning from others.
I think probably the Trevor Project kids felt closest to me. In 1970, I volunteered at a gay and lesbian hotline. There weren't a whole bunch of other letters. And every night I worked, you know, once a week or whatever, I heard horrible stories of people being kicked out of their homes for being queer. And I love the Trevor Project telling young people it gets better. Because when you're young and different, it can be so hard to keep going. And I think that message is just incredibly important.
Agree. Thank you, Ron. You know, it's funny, I always think about what draws people to others and what doesn't, what stops people from connecting with others. And when I was 12 years old, my parents sent me to Seattle to spend some time with my aunt and uncle. And I had my first bagel, which is silly. I heard Chinese language spoken for the first time. I saw people that didn't look like the people that I knew in Montana, people of different cultures. And there was so much life and energy in Seattle and just the vibrancy of diversity. And I sensed that as a 12-year-old. And I knew that I needed to leave Montana when I could because I was drawn so deeply to other and learning from other cultures and whatnot. And I enjoy hearing the stories of people, both their joys and their struggles, because I think, again, that's something I carry with me.
This is Joan. I just wanted to say that I really appreciate your sharing the videos. And I think that those of us who know people who are not exactly like ourselves in every way, whatever, are lucky. And probably after seeing this video and hearing from you and others, that we would be even more appreciative of people not all being the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan.
Yeah.
I would like to make one addition to your conversations. I think of utmost importance, Cheryl had the backing and support of her parents, which a lot of kids don't have. But whatever she wanted to do, we were willing to go along with it. And I am so proud of her today. I love you, Cheryl.
Love you back, Mom.
I love you more.
Karen, you have competition.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else care to share? All right. So now I want to talk a little bit about the importance of storytelling. We've heard some stories in these last videos, but just really want to come hone in a little bit on storytelling. So statistics inform us, but stories change us. Hearing another story and really trying to understand their perspective enriches us. We're about to watch an exchange in a podcast that shows how sharing our journeys builds understanding, which leads to a deeper sense of empathy for others. As you watch this video, and this is a short one, notice what stays with you emotionally.
My story or your story that you tell might empower and encourage someone else to tell their story about what they're going through. All of a sudden, they're having a conversation with someone else. Heard Kevin's story. Oh, geez, my God, how did he go through that? But I have a similar story, not like that, but I relate to what he was going through and telling their story. And I think that the more storytellings that we can kind of do, the better it is.
I think you're absolutely right. And I think people forget, and a lot of people don't even know, that storytelling or stories are 22 times more memorable than statistics or facts.
Yeah.
When you tell a story to an audience of any kind, whether that's on a video, like a video podcast, or an audio podcast, like we're doing both here, or whether that's in person on a stage in front of a crowd, or whether that's in a film in which you're portraying a character, but you're telling a story. The story you're telling creates new neural pathways in the brain. Synapses and neurons are firing and connecting, and the audience relates to that story. They literally, their brains sync up with the storyteller's brain, and they feel empathy for what they're going through. But then if you end that story with a positive, hopeful, meaningful movement toward change in their lives, they go home, they do the work, and they stay here. It's amazing. It's phenomenal.
And it saves lives. Like your presentation and your story, and you telling your story, but also giving them a happy ending to that story. And look, you can reach out. At the end of the day, I don't want you, or Kevin doesn't want you to be here where you were about to jump off the Golden Gate Bridge. Me, about to kind of take my own life, about to hang myself, and suicide. We don't want you to be at that stage. We want you to be down here where you see the signs early, you get help, you get educated, you hear our story, which will help you and empower you to kind of tell your story and get help.
All right, so now I'm going to move into practice. So love is practice. Action that's grounded in love. Love is not only something we feel, it's something we practice. Sometimes love looks like speaking. Sometimes it looks like listening. Think about what you do in your life to cultivate a love of nature, or love of others? How is your service or justice or peace work rooted in love? And I love this quote from Thich Nhat Hanh: love is a living, breathing thing. It's something we cultivate. And again, when we're cultivating love from a social justice perspective or peace perspective, that looks different. Any thoughts?
In the Unitarian Church, what we say is that we're making love visible.
I
And
like
so
that.
by making it visible, we can share it more easily.
I like that.
My mom, this is Karen. My mom, when I was very, very young, taught me the love of all people, that you love everyone. Everyone has value. You see the value in everyone and you love everyone. And she also taught me the love of animals. And I carry that with me throughout my life. And therefore, I see everyone as being equal because everyone has value and everyone is deserving of love, and also animals. Amy and I have rescued our 5 cats that we've had throughout our life together, and I see so much hatred in the world, and I don't understand it. Because I can't I don't think that way. I don't think I don't hate anyone, and I don't understand hate. I see the product of it, and it's incomprehensible to me. And that I'm always been thankful to my mom for teaching that to me so young that it's like second nature to me. It's just part of who I am, and I just wish that people all over this globe would have that same understanding. I think the world would just be so much a better place. And because I just can't understand hate. It's not something I experience ever, you know. And there, if you love from a very young age, and you just think that then everyone is equal, and you don't have those prejudices, you don't have those well, I guess that's all I really want to say, is you just don't have those prejudices, you don't have those biases and stuff like that.
And so what we talked about before, you carry that with you. You carry the teachings from your mother, and you've cultivated love because of those teachings. And I'm sure there are stories within your life that reflect that when shared will help make the world a little bit more peaceful. All right, so let's move on. And so reflection to action. So with anything, I think a call to action is really important. The goal isn't to do everything. The goal is to do one thing with intention. Think about one small act of care you feel called toward. So does anyone have anything you'd like to share about a small act of love you feel called toward after pondering the topics that we've talked about tonight? I think an act of love can be getting to know somebody that isn't like you.
I have to agree with that. This is Shirley. My church is an open and affirming church, and it's the only one in the United States that the Northern California and Nevada region has an open and affirming policy. And that surprises me because I thought Christians were supposed to be open and affirming and accepting and loving and all that stuff, but apparently it isn't. So I really had no problem with, I have friends who are in the LGBT community, and I really didn't have any problem as there being my friend and my working with them until a couple of years ago. Our church hired a new women's ministry head, and her name is Monica Cross, and she is a transgender woman. She used to be married, and she had a child, I guess, when she was a he, and she served in the Navy, and she was a male who transitioned to female. And I that at first bothered me, but right now I have no problem. I was just at a meeting with Monica, and she's just my friend. I mean, I don't judge her for what she was or will be, or that's for God to decide, how we treat each other. And Karen, I remember many times you used to sit on the sidelines when we were out at events, and you would never join us, but you were always like right on the fringe. And now you're a full-fledged WILPFer. It's wonderful.
WILPFer. I love that. And I'm very happy to hear that you've embraced somebody who is transgender, because the transgender folks are typically
they are very
the othered quite a lot, right?
Yeah,
Misunderstood.
exactly.
And yeah.
Reverend Monica is pretty awesome, though. She's been my roommate at Poor People's Campaign events in DC and other places. So
nice.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, anybody else want to share an act of love you feel called toward? And we're close to closing, so this may be your last opportunity to share. Maybe one more. All right, so in closing, caring for the earth and caring for people are deeply connected. Peace grows when we widen our circle of belonging. So now I want to read a poem called The Widening Circle. This is an anonymous, Rilke-inspired contemporary poem that brings a lot of what we've been talking about tonight together. I live my life in widening circles, reaching out to embrace the world. The boundary softens, the fence line dissolves, holding more in the heart than I did before. It's the neighbor, the stranger, the kin. It's the river, the air, the mountain's grin. Remember the earth whose skin we are, red, black, yellow, white, brown. We are earth. We tread as guests the earth to share, to tread lightly and with tender care. I belong to the sky, I belong to the tree, all beings included in the canopy. For everything belongs, the roots and the song, we are part of the vast, interconnected throng. The circle widens, a heart's swift grace, caring for the world, our only place. So radical belonging is rooted in interconnectedness, shaped by empathy and informed by deep love of earth and others. May you all experience radical belonging. And if you'd like, say one word that you're carrying with you tonight.
Community.
Compassion.
Mm-hmm.
Learning and sharing.
Helpfulness.
Ah. All right. So in closing, I'd like to share something from a book that I'm currently reading called Fierce Vulnerability by Kazuhaga. This is in a chapter called We Are Okay, where he basically argues that we really aren't okay given the climate crisis and wars around the world. He says this: lasting peace is possible if we can find our way toward each other and toward wholeness again. And now peace grows in small acts of care for the earth and for one another, and that's what radical belonging is all about. Thank you for bringing your presence and your reflections tonight. It's been my pleasure to be your speaker. And just so you know, video, photo, illustration credits, I did some of this using AI, some of the illustrations and some of the things that I found to talk about. Amazing tool. Technology can be our friend. Anyway, so that is it. Again, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here and sharing that.
So the tune is from the song We Shall Not Be Moved. I think most of you know that tune. We're not giving up. We are not ever giving up. We know we're in the struggle for the long haul. We're not giving shoulder to shoulder. We're not giving up. Although we're getting older, we're not giving up. We know we're in the struggle for the long haul. We're not giving up. We ain't sitting crying, we're not giving up. The left is not dying, we're not giving up. We know we're in the struggle for the long haul. We're not giving up. We're not giving up. We are not ever giving up. We know we're in the struggle for the long haul. We're not giving up. We're up against the system. We're not giving up. We still resist them. We're not giving up. We know we're in the struggle long haul. We're not giving up.
Portia? Anybody?
Okay. When we make peace instead of war, when we make peace instead of war, how I want to be in that number. When we make peace instead of war, when planet Earth is treated like home, when planet Earth is treated like home, how I want to be in that number. When planet Earth is treated like home. When neighbors dare to share their truth, when neighbors dare to share their truth, how I want to be in that number. When neighbors dare to share their truth. When everyone is fairly treated, when everyone is fairly treated, how I want to be in that number. When everyone is fairly treated. When we make peace instead of war, when we make peace instead of war, how I want to be in that number. When we make peace instead of war.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. And thank you again, Cheryl, for your presentation and being our newest member. We're really excited that you're here.
Thank you.